Hi, this is James Governor from RedMonk again, and we're going to do a moderated screencast. We like to show as much as we do like telling. So yeah, today I have John Talbert from IBM, and he represents the IBM Endpoint Manager product, previously known as BigFix. And yeah, we're just going to have a quick look at the product, and he's going to show that you can do some things that you may not have known that you could do in terms of asset management.
My role today at IBM is as a service manager. I run a team of 11 gentlemen and ladies who go out to customers and help them get started with BigFix or IBM Endpoint Manager as it's known today. I joined the product about 8 years ago on BigFix 5. I was a customer at the time supporting about 6,000 endpoints, and the customer brought in this new BigFix product to replace their aging SMS solution. Learned how to use it, got active on the forums, got an offer to apply for a job at BigFix, and about 3 years after that point, actually joined the BigFix team as a services engineer, again, helping people to get this thing rolling. A couple of years after that, of course, IBM saw the value that I saw in the product as well, and came along and bought up BigFix, and we're back at IBM now.
Okay, so you were a customer, then you became very much part of the community, and IBM hired you accordingly. This sounds almost like some cool open source story, but anyway, it's good to hear that there are community networks that are generating these sorts of things. You know, people don't always think about IBM from the grassroots, so that is interesting. But let's take a gander at this Endpoint Manager product that you've got to show off.
Sure. So this is the console. I've just popped it open. We earlier today we installed on your demo PC the agent, and it was just to set up the exe, double-click, next, next, next. It's pretty much all that was required.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result of that effort, we've got a wealth of information about your PC, just out-of-box information, things like looks like. You're on a private subnet. Looks like you've got some Adobe products installed. Looks like, let's see, here's some interesting things. We got, you're using HD webcam, a C615, as a matter of fact.
So we're definitely straddling. We're definitely.
I happen to be running in a Lenovo box as well.
There you go. Yeah, I will. You can take away my ThinkPad with my cold, dead hands. Yeah, I'm not changing on that one.
Fair enough. Right. So this actually happened to me earlier in my career, where the provisioning department that buys all the PCs had leased a bunch of PCs for a company. And it was time to return them after the lease was done. And so we use this computer model that's built in to track down the serials of the PCs. But what we found is when we were reclaiming them, the monitor that was with the PC was not always the same monitor it was shipped with. We got most of them, but we had a few straggles. We had to track them down and try to find, where are these monitors? Who has them now? Let's get them back so that we don't get charged with a fee. So
okay.
Procurement came to me and asked me this question, and they asked, not because they knew the tool could do it, but they knew the tool was flexible and had a lot of ability to do things on the fly. What I'm going to do for you now is, on the fly, I'm going to cook up an analysis to pull back the information about serial numbers of monitors. Let's go over to Google and do a quick search on how can I find out monitor information on a Windows box. I did some searching earlier on this, so I know EDID is the acronym I'm looking for. Here's a Wikipedia article on it. This is basically information that's programmed into the monitor from the vendor. But one thing this didn't give me was, how do I find where on Windows Box I can pull this? So let's go out to search engine once again, and let's check another simple Google search here. And here's a Microsoft social registry key that we can use here. One side note here, you'll notice they say there's no 100% reliable way to do this. This is why we don't have this built into the product today. But this registry key is the interesting one for us. So let's go out briefly. To my registry, and we're going to develop off of this. So here's that key in the registry. And if I drill down into these, I find this is actually the EDID I'm looking for the monitor that is currently turned on.
Okay.
You'll notice that some of these other monitors don't have this control key. So I'm going to use that to filter down to only show me the active monitor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a language we use in the in BigFix called Relevance language. And just briefly here, I started with the registry, and I went to a key in the registry. The subkeys are not named the same on every machine, so I'm going to actually have to drill down into those. Let's do keys of that key. Okay, that's drilled down to that section. Let's drill down again. Keys of those keys, and we need one more level. Keys of those keys, and that gets me down to this device parameters, where we've decided, hey, here's where our information is. So let's pull only the device parameter keys, and then remember we also have to filter out the ones that don't have control.
Okay.
So keys whose value whose, exists, key control of it. Okay, so this is the key that's going to have my EDID data, and let's pull that value out. Value of, and there's the EDID raw string for us. Your serial number, my serial number, is hidden in here somewhere. Kind of hard to read unless you're a super genius. Let's do a little bit of decoding here so it makes it easier for us to read. As a side note here, there's a 2-day course on learning this stuff. And after the first day, you could be writing this.
Okay.
It's really not that deep. So here's the decoded string, and a couple interesting things that we're seeing just in the raw decoded string here. Here's one of them, Dell 2212HM.
Mm-hmm.
That happens to be my model type.
I was going to say, yep.
Notice this FC in front of it. Yep. And then this one has an FF in front of it, and this is the PF48H22. This FF is supposed to designate serial. So just as a raw demonstration, I'm going to take this piece of code, just the way it is, over to my BigFix, my endpoint manager, and I'm going to create a new analysis, and this is going to be RedMonk tests, and let's create a new property. This one's going to be raw EDID, and I'm just going to paste my code right there. So I spent 5 minutes or so developing this, and just as easy as this, I've published it to every endpoint in my infrastructure. That could be 250,000 endpoints I just asked this question of.
Okay.
And I should have results back relatively quickly. Let's take a quick look here. This is, where's my RedMonk monitor demo? There we go. That's not it. Or is it? What did I call this? I called this RedMonk. Let's go.
It's almost like we've done this before.
Well, I've got the final actually loaded already, and I'll show you that in just a moment. So we haven't gotten results in from this one yet. This is one I ran earlier today, getting results. This is my PC, and this is your PC. This is actually a bit of finished code, kind of jumping ahead in the process to, once I got the raw data, I did a bunch of text parsing to divide those fields out and to make it a little bit more human readable.
Yep.
That takes a little time. I probably spent an hour or so, but I've saved that as a .bes file that we're going to attach to this video so that anybody watching can just go and see the final results in their own BigFix or IBM results. And so some of the, oh, hey, we've got your computer, the demo PC. This is yours. Actually, I know it's yours. Let's take a quick look because, hey, there's your name. You're using your login as James right now. So I know your computer has gotten a copy of the question. It is currently evaluating that, and we should have a raw string here for you in just a minute. and we'll look through that raw string and see some of the main components.
Okay.
If I was to want to extend this and do the actual decoding, I'd come back to the wiki article. I'd start reading, these particular bytes are, the Dell or HP or 3-letter code. These particular bytes are timing and what display types your monitor can have. And then these parts down here, the descriptor 1, 2, 3, and 4, have a sub-definition. And if we look down in the sub-definition here, here's that FF is supposed to be monitor serial, and FC is supposed to be monitor name. So if the manufacturer is following the recommended EDID spec, then we should be getting here, and we got an error. Lovely. For EDID for your raw text. Not sure why. Do you have your monitor actually plugged in right now, your second monitor?
Oh, I sure do.
Okay, let me take a quick look at this then.
So I don't know if anyone has seen that movie Gremlins, but that's where me and John have been. Normally we're all about one take. We've had some quite interesting adventures with this, including a Dell monitor that didn't have the data that one would expect.
Actually, the problem is that when I wrote the query, I wrote it for only one monitor, and you've got two. You've got your laptop monitor turned on right now as well. And so if I make a tweak to this query and just make it plural, I'll get both of your strings.
Oh, awesome.
Fortunately, the string that came back first is your HP 2310 monitor.
Yep.
With the serial number right here, 3CQ01125NA.
So let's see if we can make the facilities manager happy.
Okay.
Now, hold on a second. Okay, what do we got? I will need to put my glasses on to see it myself, but I'm hoping.
Oh, hey, it's starting to come in. We're waiting for focus.
How's it looking, John?
Waiting for autofocus. Need autofocus. Maybe back a little bit. Okay, hold on. I can see the barcode, but I can't read the numbers yet. Maybe back a little tiny bit more.
It's dark now. But let me tell you, that in fact is the what we expected. Pretty funny.
Great.
So
the beauty of this,
we now
the beauty of this, James, really
the ability
is
to find out some external hardware, some data about a serial number that we weren't expecting to be able to get. And I'm not sure anyone can hear that because I don't have my headphones on. Yes, it works.
loud and clear.
Good job. So I think the thing here that go ahead.
I just like to say that part of this is, it's sort of a compelling demo because we pulled some external information that we wouldn't have been able to get otherwise. There are very few tools that do this. To me, the power is not that we pulled your monitor serial, is that we decided we needed to, and in near real time, did the task.
Right.
To me, that just, it's the amazing part to me.
Well, to me, it's about the extensibility and I guess about the relevance. So, for those that have not come across that programming language, that environment, clearly pretty powerful. And of course, yes, it's not impressive that it was just about collecting that piece of data from the monitor. It was working out how one might do that in other contexts, to your point. So I would like to say it's a pretty compelling demo. Thank you, John, and goodbye, everyone.